Namaste ji, namaste. So a couple of prelims questions that are extremely important. All right, we cannot negate this. Section 27. You're going to read 26 on your own. You're going to read 27 on your own. That is the homework for today. Okay. 27 says any offense that is not punishable with death or life, if done by a person under the age of 16 years. All right. So it's 16 years. Which court shall try it? It's the CJM or any court empowered under the Children's Act 1960. But for right now, after that horrific Delhi Nirbhaya gang rape case, the Juvenile Justice Care and Protection of Children Act 2015. These are all prelim ke question. What is the age now? Is it 18 or is it 16? Amended to 16. Okay. That's 27 का इकलौता MCQ. Unless मेंस में कोई जुवेनाइल के साथ रिलेटेड कोई भी सवाल आ जाए, you cannot answer it without quoting section 27. And remember, in the mains we don't have to write sections again and again. Quotation दे देंगे, title दे देंगे, main core crux दे देंगे. And if you're arguing over a word in the mains, then you'll have to write that proper sentence out. For example, if you're arguing over shall, if you're arguing over may, that is how we go about it basically. Okay. Now comes section 30, that is 64, and obviously this is related to section 64 to 67, but we'll come to 64 to 67 later on. Now section 30 is, first and foremost, what happens when, let us say that you have been given a fine by a magistrate, all right, and then things aren't really working out, and then now you haven't paid the fine, so the magistrate wants to send you to prison. Now what happens? Basically, now what is exactly happening with the magistrate? Now look at it this way. They can send you to imprisonment, and which magistrate are we talking about? Is it judicial or an executive one? Refer to section 3. Always refer to section 3. It's a judicial magistrate that we're talking about. They cannot give you an imprisonment that exceeds their power. And what is the power? Remember we discussed it in the previous lecture. CJM कितना दे सकता है जी? Maximum imprisonment 7 years, right? JM first class 3 years. This has to be committed to memory. JM second class 1 year, right? This is where you usually get pointed as, or in a metropolitan area, then you are basically at the level of the first class. Okay. So इससे ऊपर तो ये लोग आपको for a fine they cannot send you to prison, all right? Okay. Now look at it this way. This is basically, अगर ये imprisonment award करते भी हैं आपको for not paying up the fine, all right, it cannot exceed 1/4 of the total term. So for example, let us say that they give you an imprisonment for 1 year and then a fine of, let us say, 5,000 rupees, hypothetically speaking. Now 1/4, and you didn't deposit that amount. So now that 1 year imprisonment तो जा ही रही है, but वो जो fine जो आपने नहीं दिया उसके चक्कर में आपको 4 महीने और दे सकता है. That's the maximum limit, so it cannot exceed 1/4 of the original term that was awarded to you. Now 1/4 of the term is the MCQ. कि जी कितनी limit है of the imprisonment awarded under the substantive law. What is the substantive law? IPC, of course, mostly IPC and other laws where offenses are defined, right? That is where substantive is. Now, more MCQs. ये हो गया. Hopefully this is clear. The crucial MCQ is 1/4. Please make a note of it. Okay. 31 के अंदर क्या चल रहा है? 31 के अंदर जी ये चल रहा है. अब obviously, mostly in most cases, in fact, there are 2 or more offenses, right? So you go to trial at once, but then there are 2 or you've been cheated with a couple of offenses. Unless the court tells you that these offenses are going to be running concurrently, that is simultaneously, for example, 1 for rape, 1 for murder, and simultaneously ये काम चल रहा है, unless the court specifies that, it is consecutively, that is one after the other. एक के लिए 5 साल, दूसरे के लिए 7 साल, तो कितने के लिए गए? 12 साल के लिए. पहले 5 खत्म होंगे, फिर 7वें साल वाली सजा शुरू होगी. मतलब जो 7 वाला साल है, 5 साल के बाद basically it's going to start. So it's consecutively. Now time for our first judgment. In Gagan Kumar versus State of Punjab, the Supreme Court has made it a legal requirement for the court to mention the court giving the imprisonment to mention what sort of a type of imprisonment this is. All right. So this is consecutively. Okay. So आप consecutively और concurrently आपको mention करानी पड़ेगी, जो आप बताइए कि आप क्या करना चाह रहे हैं. But usually by default it is consecutively unless the court mentions. That is section 31 का MCQ. Alright, तो consecutive concurrent याद रखेंगे, 1/4 याद रखेंगे, Juvenile Justice Care and Protection of Children Act 2015 याद रखेंगे, and अच्छा एक चीज़ और याद रखेंगे, you cannot basically have a person in jail for more than 14 years. That's what 31 says, right? So yeah, like what MCQ, all prelims, all very very shallow stuff, halka stuff. Remember, layer 1 halka stuff, right? I believe now we are in a position to discuss rest, which you want to do in the next one. All right, take care, bye.